It's a little bit embarrassing, but I want to tell you guys what happened when I cut my prices by 10. So my price was X, I made it 1/10 X. So the reason why this is embarrassing is not what you guys think, and I'm almost done making my salad, so we're just going to keep doing that. So basically, I have my service, it's priced pretty high, and clients are required to pay upfront or like split pay like into two payments. That's basically it. And I decided to test. I'm like constantly testing things in my business so that I can make sure that I'm not hitting a local maximum, and also so I have, insights to share with you guys and with my clients. So I decided to test, instead of testing a new marketing direction, which is what I normally do, I tested a business model direction. And I basically said, what would happen if I reached out to some people that I already spoke with and I offered them the same service that they already turned down, but instead of paying, however much like upfront, I said, you know what, it's going to be a tenth that at a subscription, like a monthly subscription. So you don't have to stay for 10 months. You can leave anytime you want. And the crazy thing is, the results from my service are usually like, my clients usually hit like around 4 weeks. It's like designed to take 4 weeks. So I was essentially giving them a way to hit the promise with just one billing cycle. But my hypothesis was I will find something else that they need then later in order to keep them around. Like they will want to stay, they'll enjoy the community, maybe they'll enjoy the accountability, whatever. Like there's going to be reasons for them to stay. And if not, whatever, like I will learn. So, I mean, I found it hard to believe that anybody would stay for 10 cycles to make it like exactly that. But the thing that I was giving up on in that business model was the risk reversal promise, which my upfront paying clients get, and these ones obviously did not get. So I reached out to the people that I've spoken to before, and the demand was crazy high. I capped it at 5 people because the last thing that I wanted was to basically create a scenario where I bring all these people in and then I can't support them, and then I don't know, and then they stay indefinitely. I don't know how I would deal with that. But 5 I knew that I could carry. And so I enrolled the 5 people, collected the first billing cycle, felt really proud of myself, felt genuinely excited about this discovery. I was like, oh my gosh, I think I cracked a new business model hack. And if I can find a reason, because my reason for reaching out was hey, I'm doing this test, 5 people. If I can find a reason, I didn't want to be reaching out every month lying that I'm running a new test, right? So I needed to find, in my mind, the only obstacle was that I didn't have a legitimate reason to continue running this model where I reach out to non-buyers and offer them essentially this downsell. Oh, so innocent, so innocent, so naive. This is really the embarrassing part, is I was so focused on the revenue aspect of this business model test, which is fair, revenue is important, just the lifeblood of your business. But I had completely forgotten during that initially in that test about the other repercussions of pricing. And I was pretty quickly reminded of them pretty violently. So I think the numbers will speak for themselves. Of the 5 people who started, the 5 people who enrolled, 2 people never started. So paid, never showed up, never activated, just paid, and then disappeared. One of them to this day is telling me his life is still really chaotic. One started, had a week kind of start, I guess, and just completely ghosted within a week. Another one lasted probably longer than the other ones, but like in a start-stop fashion that was really, really bad for his progress. And whenever he did things, it was just not what needed to be done. So like with the way that I work with my clients is like we do a back and forth, and his fourth was like there was no adherence, there was no compliance, there was just like he was a great person. Like I've spoken to him several times. I think like personally he's just great. As a client, he was like a giant walking middle finger to everything I instructed to do, which is basically a nightmare client. Okay. Because like the last thing you want is to have like this like toddler basically as a client, right? And one of them showed up and did the work and did everything, and then like felt like he had gotten enough and left after 3 cycles. And that was like, he was my win, but he wasn't really my win. He was a win in his own right because he was like so dead set on extracting the most value from me and the program. And I was like actually super grateful for that, like compared to all the other ones. So I'm not happy that he didn't stay for all the billing cycles, obviously, but I am glad that like with him leaving, I was able to wrap up this experiment, because in the beginning with all the demand, I was thinking like, wow, I really need to, there are like some significant gaps in my sales abilities if like all these people said no at my real price, but they're saying yes to this. Like that means like I'm like not persuasive enough at the normal price, and I have to cut it by 10 in order to like persuade them and for to make the sell easy, right? So like I have to get at least like, not at least, but like 10 times better at selling, maybe less, because I didn't test like mid-range prices, but like I didn't figure out where it breaks, right? But like that was my whole thinking. I was like, oh, I need to get better at selling because people are saying yes to this, and they said no to the other thing. And the other thing is better, right? The other thing comes with a promise. It comes with risk reversal. It's like, I got you, boo. Like I got you so hard. As long as you show up doing your side of the street, I'm going to show up with my promise, and like, you're going to get the result for sure. Like nothing is going to stop us. But I think what I forgot is that so many times it's not about people trusting you enough. It's about people trusting themselves enough to trust you. And so just that, even that condition of like, hey, as long as you show up and do all the things, some people, a lot of people will say, well, I don't know if I'm going to show up and do the things, you know? And so they're not going to risk betting that much money on themselves and their ability to see something through, but they'll risk a little bit just to see how it goes, right? And that's the difference between people who are curious and interested and people who are committed and decisive. And my pricing at the top level, I for sure still need to get better at sales. I can always improve, right? But my pricing at the top was filtering a lot better for those decisive and committed people. And at that low price point that had no promise, like no commitment either way, except for this like monthly small cash movement, that did not filter for anything. So the reason why I find this embarrassing is because I forgot that pricing is more than just revenue supporting. Pricing is actually core to your positioning and to your qualification process. And as a bonus, people who pay more show up way more. Just show up better. It doesn't replace being ready and committed and decisive. It does not replace it. Like if someone is indecisive, uncommitted, constantly like question marks, self-doubting, all of that, and you like force them to, those salespeople, right? Where they like this is why it feels icky, because you took something from them that they didn't really, really want to give. Whereas somebody who is committed and decisive could still be scared and have concerns, but you're helping them make a decision that they ultimately know is good for them and they want to make. They just need help making it. Okay? And so you can't, like, if your sales process or somebody on your sales team is the kind of person who like forces yeses out of people that aren't committed and aren't decisive, the fact that they paid a shitload of money is not going to fix that. But if they are committed and decisive and they paid a shitload of money, then that's going to just like, it's going to be a force multiplier for their commitment and for their decisiveness, and for like they put their money where their mouth is, and like they're ready to like lock in and get shit done. And those are my favorite clients. And that is why I'm really happy that I did this test, because it's a really good reminder of something that I already knew and I guess forgot, or got distracted with other things. So super good to learn that lesson again, and super good to share it with you guys and anybody who is considering adjusting their pricing or doing something like that. Not like as a catch-all recommendation, because maybe it could be right for your particular business, but like let those lessons and insights sink in. And at the very least, if you do, sorry, I have an alarm here. At the very least, if you do decide to do something like that, run it as a small test first, because you might get some behaviors that you did not expect.